Okay, so this may or may not be focused, and I apologize. All right, so 3, 2, 1. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a couple weeks since I've seen you guys last, and it's been a very long time since I've done a sit-down video with you guys. I usually am at the station and, you know, vlogging, blah blah blah, whatever. So I don't really do sit-down videos usually, just because I think I lost my train of thought. Just because I think, I don't know, I get so bored with them. Like while I'm editing them, I'm like, man, I sound so boring. I don't know. I'm gonna try to make this one interesting, and so hopefully you guys don't get bored and click off. And before we start the video, make sure you guys subscribe and follow me on social media, on Instagram and on Twitter. I'm very active there, and I would love to chat with you guys and DM me, whatever. Let's be friends. Okay, let's start with today's video. The title is obviously very obvious. Today we are talking... It's not a magical thing. Today we are talking producer mistakes. As much as I would like to say that I'm a perfect person and I don't make mistakes at my job, that would be a lie. I do make mistakes, and you know, unfortunately or fortunately, no, very fortunately for me. So when a reporter and anchor makes mistakes, you can tell, like, because they're on air, they're the person in front of the camera, right? And you know, it's very obvious, and they kind of have to be quick on their feet and think fast and, like, you know, or brush it off or whatever, you know, I don't know, whatever. I'm not on air right now. So when on-air talent makes mistakes, it's obvious to the viewer. But when I make mistakes, I can kind of sneak by without people noticing, if that makes sense. Obviously I notice, and obviously people that are in the business notice that, and obviously like my bosses notice, and the anchors and reporters notice when I make a mistake or when the director makes a mistake. So so I do make mistakes. Obviously, if you guys aren't avid news watchers or you aren't in the business, you probably wouldn't be able to tell my mistakes. So today we're gonna really point them out and show you what kind of mistakes I make. I'm regretting this because I have a feeling people are gonna think I suck, and I don't suck. Okay, maybe sometimes. I have four clips for you guys that we're gonna go through and talk about. At the end of this video, I am gonna discuss a very serious mistake that I made that was very traumatic, and I have PTSD from it. And I wish I was joking, and I know my tone sounds like I'm joking, but I am not. Like, that mistake that I made was probably one of the worst mistakes that you can make as a producer, and just talking about it makes me want to cry. So I don't know how I'm gonna get through this video, but we will get there, so stay tuned for that. But first, let's start with, you know, harmless mistakes. Not completely harmless, because they are mistakes. Obviously, you shouldn't make mistakes, but they're not as bad as, like, the one big mistake that I've made. So these are just little things that the viewer and people who don't watch news regularly won't notice. If people who aren't in the business won't notice, but, you know, a lot of other people notice, and I notice. Okay, so let's start with this first clip. If you're wondering why I'm looking down, I have my laptop built up here, and we're gonna go through these clips together. So like I was saying, before I realized that I don't know how to screen record, and that I should probably be screen recording just in case, I have 4 clips for you guys. These are from this week alone, and it's Wednesday, so so let's start off with, which one should we start off? Let's start off with a small one that you guys are really gonna have to think about to notice what is going on. So I'm gonna play through this clip, and you guys are gonna tell me if you notice the mistake. Okay, we're gonna watch this together. All right, let's just pray.
We are one day away from the first public testimony in the impeachment inquiry of President Trump. I'm Angelica Alvarez on Capitol Hill with more on what you can expect.
We now want to take a live look at your roads right now. You can see some of your main roads are a little bit clear, but there are some slick spots you need to watch out for. We're going to keep a close eye on your road conditions as you head out for your morning commute and bring you any updates all morning long.
All right. So, okay. To me, it's very obvious, but you guys probably are like wondering, like, what are you talking about? Where is there a mistake? But there is, and I will show you, and once I point it out, you guys will see how obvious it is. So, I want you guys to pay attention to the bottom left corner of your screen, okay? Where it says coming up and news at 7, right? So that is called a T-spanner, and like the little blue on the bottom right of the corner is also part of the T-spanner, right? So we put those at a bump to tease to upcoming stories, right? Usually in that T-spanner there is like a quick title of the story that you are teasing, and if you can as you guys can tell, there is nothing in this tease banner. It just says coming up and then the Dayton 24/7 Now logo and then news at 7. But if you guys look ahead to this one, so this is what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to have the coming up, and then right here this is a live look at the road. So because it was snowing and ice and people were gonna wake up and be curious about what their commute was gonna be, right? So I put road conditions here and then news at 7. So this is the correct, I was trying to say correct and right at the same time, and I said correct. Okay. So this is what it's supposed to look like. This is the correct format of this, not what I had here where there is nothing. Again, very minor, very little mistake, but you know, it just looks bad on my part. And you know, when you're a producer, there's so many little things that you have to do. If you're not a detail oriented person, you're not gonna make it as a producer, because as a producer you have to worry about so much. Like I'm just like, you have to worry about so much, okay? And you know, one little thing can really ruin your show. Obviously this little thing, not that big of a deal, but you know, when you compare, like obviously I messed up. So that's mistake number 1 that I've made recently. So this next one, I'm gonna let you guys watch it, and I really want you to pay attention to everything that you see on the screen, every little thing. Try to pay attention. It's gonna be tricky, but I think you guys will be able to figure out, because there's multiple things wrong. I think you guys will be able to figure out at least one thing that I did wrong here. Okay? All right, let's play through it.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Nathan Edwards. My co-anchor Elise Coulter is out on assignment this morning, and as you can see here, we are working on several stories for you this morning. We do want to let you know that there are some school delays scrolling right now at the bottom of your screen. Now let's get a check of this morning's weather with meteorologist Mike Joyce. Mike?
All right. So, okay, there's a lot of things that are wrong here, and a lot of like behind the scenes things that you guys can't see that was wrong, which we'll explain. Okay, so let's start off. The show starts, right? So in prompter, before the story, so before a story in red, usually for my station at least, in red, it'll say Nathan or Elise, because those are my morning anchors. It'll say Nathan take camera shot, and I pick the camera shots, right? So for this one, my morning show, my 7 o'clock usually starts with the camera shot called Our Quad Kiosk. So that's how it starts off every day. But for this particular day, I wanted to do something cool and show off, like, yeah, we're on top of like a bunch of stories and like weather and like this police officer that passed away. And I really wanted to show that off, but obviously the main topic, the main concern in the morning was the weather because commutes and all of that. Okay, so that's that. So you can't really showcase that with an R-Quad kiosk. I mean, you could, but it would look weird. So I did what you're seeing right now. This is called an R-Quad. Okay. So there's so many things that you can do with an R-Quad, and this is just one of them. So I picked 4 elements to be on the right monitor, and then I picked a generic graphic to be on the left monitor. So the left monitor, you see like the snow and the wheel and all that. Or the wheel. That is definitely a tire. I'm sorry. I'm filming this after work. It's 1:18 and I haven't had a nap. Okay. So on the left side you can see the car tire with snow and ice and all that to, you know, that. Okay. So on this right quad, I have Eric and Elise in boxes. Okay, I told them, as a producer, you have to tell them that they're going to be in boxes so that they can be on standby, so that they can just be like, you know, like they look ready, right? So sometimes I forget to tell them, and then that's on me. That's another producer mistake. But this time I told them. So they're ready to go, right? And then I also wanted the temperatures of the weather. And then this bottom right one, this bottom right one was supposed to be a shot of downtown Troy, of a live webcam. But as you can see, it's a map of the procession that was going to happen for the Dayton officer that passed away, right? So if we keep moving forward.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Nathan Edwards. My co-anchor Elise Coulter is out on assignment this morning, and as you can see here, we are working on several stories for you this morning. We do want to let you know that there are...
So I just changed it. Let's go back a little bit. I want to show you guys. So as you can see, first of all, I realized too late that I had the wrong thing up, but you know, it still kind of worked. And then I realized it wasn't full, so I had to make it full on air. So, you know, big mistake. And then another thing I want to talk about is Nathan looks really, really dark, right? So usually there's like more lighting here. But again, I changed my regular R-Quad kiosk shot to an R-Quad, but I didn't change it in the script where it says Nathan take R-Quad. Instead it said Nathan take R-Quad kiosk. So the floor crew and Nathan were ready for an R-Quad kiosk shot, which uses different lights. Okay, there's like different light settings. But last minute we were like, no, you're at the R-Quad. So they had to like quickly go, and he was like not in the, I think he was in the right spot. I'm not really sure. I'm not out there, so I don't know floor shots or anything. I just know what looks right. But he is kind of dark because again, they weren't ready for that setup and the lights are different, and yeah. So that is what was wrong with this shot. So there's a lot of like there's a lot of little things, right? A lot of little things, several little things, and yeah. So that is mistake number 2, but really mistake number 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. So that's my second mistake. Let's do another one, another hard one. Okay, it's kind of hard. It's not that hard. All right, I'll give you guys a hint for this one. Listen. You're gonna have to listen for my mistake. I know you can't listen to me talk, but just listen for something and you'll know it's my mistake. All right, here it goes. Okay, here it goes.
Now 7:08, the impeachment inquiry goes public today. What you can expect to see in the day ahead.
And the repeal of DACA taking center stage at the Supreme Court this week. How dreamers are now making their voices be heard.
So, can you guys guess what went wrong there? Because I can. Well, I know what went wrong. All right, so spelling mistakes. Although you think they would be very insignificant, they make a big difference. And you know, sometimes like the anchors will read through their scripts and they'll be able to catch them. But you know, by the time they get to my show, they've already read through, God, dozens and dozens of scripts. Because I'm the third show. I'm not the first show. I'm the third show they have to do out of 4. Right? No, out of 5. Wait, what? Does that sound right? 4:30, 5, 6. No, I'm the 4th show they have to do out of 5. Okay, so by the time they get to my show, they've already read so many scripts. So sometimes like you can just black out and like you think you're seeing things right, but they're wrong. And like it's the same thing comes with like producing. Like when you're writing stories or teases, sometimes you can just like black out and like whatever you're writing just like goes. And I try to double check, but sometimes like if I'm in a hurry I don't, but I almost make it a point to double check my stuff, right? So in the prompter in the script it said dreams instead of dreamers, which is why Elise said it that way. So let's go back and listen to it one more time.
DACA taking center stage at the Supreme Court this week. How dreamers are now making their voices be heard.
Like I said, usually my anchors are very, very good about catching that stuff. But like, again, I am the 4th show out of 5 that they have to do. So by that time, like our brains are pretty dead. And it's not an excuse. Like we should all have caught it. But you know, it's very hard. And obviously like spelling, like again, we usually catch it, sometimes we don't, and when it doesn't, like that happens. And you know, I do try to be better about not misspelling things, but I have my off days, okay? I'm not a perfect person, although I wish I was. But that is mistake number 3. Something small, but very, 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 very significant and can make or break my show, like literally. All right, so now let's look at our 4th and final visual mistake. Now, I'm not going to give you guys a hint for this one, but I think you guys will be able to figure it out. I'm pretty positive because it's kind of very obvious where I messed up, but I don't know. Okay, let's play it and we shall discuss.
It is now time to start getting ready to do your holiday shopping. Joining me this morning is Ann Weingardner from Cincinnati Premium Outlets. We've got a lot of really great holiday gift ideas this morning.
All right. Okay. Can anybody guess what is wrong with this? If it's not obvious to you, I'm going to break it down for you, okay? So I'm going to turn this down. Okay, it's down. All right. Look at the graphic behind them. It's cute, it's snowy, it's a tree rotating, but when you're trying to show off stuff in front of them for a segment specifically, like it's just like, it's information overload, I think. It's just like, it's too much. Like you usually want to have like, not like plain backgrounds, but not where it's moving and like it's a distraction is what it is. And I realized it too late. Like she had already started, and changing the graphic like on there is not something you want to do. So it was it's very distracting. Like if you guys are looking at it, like look at, like you can't, there's just too much going on. Like it's just too much going on. Like I really should have picked like a steady graphic instead of picking this, but I thought it would be cute, but it just ended up being too much. Like, it's just too much behind them, and it's just distracting. And that's something else you have to like think about when you're a producer, like your graphics, camera shots, writing, oh no, that's it. Writing, content, all of, like, there's so much. And like I said, it's like little things. Attention to detail is very, very important when you're a producer. And I cringe at these mistakes. I know you guys probably don't think they're a big deal, but like, to me, like, when I look up, I'm like, bro, come on, like, you're better than that. Like, I know I'm better than that. I know I'm better than those little mistakes, but you know, life happens. But all right, so I'm gonna close this and put it away, and it's time to get serious. I don't really want to joke around during this. I know, like, I usually like make fun of myself and I'm bubbly and all that, but this is kind of very serious, and I want to talk about it because it's important to know. And like, young producers or producers just starting off, like, yeah, those little mistakes like may seem like a bigger deal to you, but like the big mistakes will either like make or break you, I think. And how you move forward and how you move past it is very, very important. And you know, it's nice to hear someone else talk about like the big mistakes that they've made that, you know, could be career ending almost. And so I'm going to talk about it. So it was earlier this year, before it was like in March, I think it was in March, or maybe May or April or February. I don't really remember. Like I said, like, trauma, memory loss, you know. So I was working my normal shift. It was a morning, and it started thunderstorming. Severe weather was a possibility, but not severe weather like tornado wise, you know, because there's a big difference. When they say severe weather, like, sometimes it could mean like extreme cold or like extreme hot, or, you know, thunderstorms, or it could mean tornadoes, hurricanes, like massive snowstorms, right? So we kind of have to be specific, like, when it's severe weather. So severe weather, the weather alert for that day was just like severe thunderstorms, like rain, flooding, all of that, right? So it started off not bad. It started off like your normal thunderstorms. We're like, oh, okay. And then throughout the 7 o'clock hour, towards the end, it just got progressively worse. And so like, my managers are coming in. They're like, hey, like, this is bad. Like, we need to pull reporters from their stories and send them here, here, here to cover weather. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, I've done that before, like changing stuff on the fly. Like, that's not really a big deal. So we get into the 8 o'clock hour, and we're really watching out, like, for these storms, because like I said, it progressively got worse. Like, we had an alert, like, but we weren't like all hands on deck like we usually are. So 8:30 o'clock hits, and it's bad. Like, in our northern counties, in Dayton, it's bad. Like, it's really bad. And 8:30 o'clock hits, and now we're just like, weather, like, it's a big story, like, all of that. My manager comes in. I don't remember the exact times because there was a lot going on. My manager comes in around like the late 8:30-ish mark, almost 8:40. She comes in and she was like, there's a tornado warning. Tornado watch, tornado warning. I forget which one it was. I think it was Salina. I'm not really sure. This was a while ago, and like I said, this was a very traumatic day for me, so I try to just bury that trauma deep inside, and hopefully it never comes back. Anyway, my manager comes in. She's like, okay, there's a tornado warning. And it's like, all right. I've never had to deal with a tornado warning before. They don't usually happen at 7, 8 a.m. They usually happen like evening, nighttime, whatever. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go to weather. So we go to weather, and he's like going over it. And like, at this point, like, we're not sticking to what's on the rundown anymore. Like, we're going with whatever I say, whatever, like, the directors and I have. So, like, at this point, you can throw away the rundown because we're not doing that. We're going wall-to-wall coverage, right? So that means we don't take breaks. We don't do anything else. We just stay on weather. But me being a new producer, when she came in and told me, like, oh, there's a tornado warning, I didn't think, oh, it's time to go to wall-to-wall coverage. Like, go to weather. Like, she told me, go to weather next. And so I did. But I didn't know it meant wall-to-wall coverage. And again, I should know that. Like, I have worked in news by then, like, almost 2 years, like a year and a half. And it's like, girl, what? Like, you should have known. Like, that's, I don't know. I get so frustrated when I think about this. I'm not gonna cry. Again, it's very traumatic. I get so frustrated when I think about this because there's just like so many things that I'm at fault for. And like, I just look back and I'm like, I should have known this, like, what to do. I should have known and I didn't. And I just beat myself up over it all the time. So I went to weather, to my meteorologist, and he kind of was like, tornado warning, blah, blah, blah. And like, everyone else is waiting on me to like, what do we do next? And I'm like, I have no idea, like, go to weather, like, that's all I know. And then my director's like, are we going to break? And I'm like, I think so. I don't know. Like, at this point, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, I'm in there going like, I'm completely blindfolded. I don't know what's coming next. I don't know what we're doing next. So everyone's like asking me, the pressure is like insane. It's very intense in there. And so like, I'm like, yeah, just go to break and then we'll come back and do some more weather. If you're in the business, you know, this is where I really messed up. So we are required by the FCC, when there's a tornado warning, tornado watch, we are legally required to stay on the air and inform people what's going on, and if they need to take cover, and if they're safe, or if danger's still near, or whatever. We are legally required to be on the air, stay on the air, and save people's lives. Okay, we are legally required. We are licensed by the FCC to do that. If we break from that, we could lose our credibility, our license, whatever. So I went to break. And one of my manager calls me in the booth and she's like, why didn't you go to weather? Like, why didn't you stay on weather? Why are you going break? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Like, I just thought like that was, she's like, no, like there's a tornado warning. And so I hang up and then my other manager comes in and she's like, why did we go to break? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Like, I literally did not know that we were supposed to do wall-to-wall coverage. And maybe I did know, but like, it was so intense and so stressful in there that I like froze. Like, I didn't know what was going on. So, you know, like, at that point, I'm like, oh, I screwed up big time. Like, big time. Probably beyond repair at this point. That happened. We got back from break. We went to weather. And then, God, I hate talking about it. Like, I have a headache now. It's just so traumatic because you always want to do your best. You don't want to make mistakes like that could cost you, like, your station's license and like your career basically. But you know, the important thing is you learn from them, you move past it, and then, you know, next time you're better than that and you don't make that same mistake, right? So that happened. We eventually ended with the tornado warning or watch, I forget which one it was, I'm sorry. And then we went back to normal. After that, I was very, very upset with myself, mostly because, you know, everyone's like, it's on the producer to know what comes next. It's on the producer to know like what's going on and what we're doing and all of that. So, you know, I felt very bad. I did cry at work that day, and I cried in front of all 3 of my bosses that day. So that was, you know, very fun. You know, I had a serious talk with my bosses, and I like sincerely apologized, and I'm like, I am so sorry. I should have known better. And you know, my bosses, like, they weren't awful to me. They weren't gonna kick me while I was already down. They were like, you know, we understand, like, it's okay. We didn't specify. We probably have never told you, like, you're still new, like, this is your first tornado thing. They don't usually happen in the morning. And one thing that my boss said is like, I know you won't make this mistake again. And I was like, I won't. So, you know, that's very important. That's something you should, like, everyone should just know and, like, keep in mind. And, like, even if you're not a producer, even if you're a reporter, if you're an anchor, if you don't work in the news industry, if you work in whatever you work in, is you're gonna make mistakes, you know, little mistakes like the ones I showed you guys at first, and then you're gonna make some big mistakes. And what's important is, though they suck and it seems like the end of the world at the time, it's not the end of the world. And you guys can, you just need to move past it. You need to learn from it, examine the situation, see what you can learn from that certain situation, mistake that you made, and keep moving forward, and just be better prepared for next time. And yeah, that's like my one big advice, especially if you work in news. Like, there's gonna be days where you're really gonna mess up, like really badly. And you know, mistakes happen almost on the daily. I mean, it's real. And if you're someone that like gets caught up in mistakes like a lot, and you just like snowball, and it's like this big giant, just huge, bad, horrible thing, it's like what we all talk about in the business is you just have to take a deep breath. What can you learn from whatever you just did, whatever situation you were just put in, whatever mistake you just made, and then just move forward. Tomorrow's a new day, tomorrow's a new show, you know, whatever. So yeah, so I don't want to end this on a sad note, on a bad note. I mean, it is a bad note and it is a sad note, because like I said, it was very traumatic for me that day. I have nightmares about it. You know, at the end of the day, all I want to do is be able to help you guys, and you know, I just want you guys to be better and smarter than me. And if you're wanting to go into this business, I don't want you to make, you know, this big mistake that I made. And obviously I haven't made that mistake since then, and we have had tornado coverage, and I know what to do when, you know, there's severe weather like that. Like, I'm better prepared. And you know, mistakes like that do shape you into a better producer, in my case, you know, a better journalist. I know, you know, the real deal. Yeah, those were all my mistakes, 4 little ones that, you know, almost happen on the daily, and then that big one that, you know, makes me kind of sad to talk about. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but I just didn't know how to go about it. But I think I figured it out, and I think I'm very happy with the outcome of this video. If you want to see a part 2 of my mistakes, because trust me, there could be endless parts of this series, like this video, comment down below. I will of course deliver. I don't have this giant ego, or I'm not too proud to show you guys, like, yeah, I mess up almost on the daily. So yeah, let me know if you want a part 2. I will for sure pull something out of my boot and put something together for you guys. If you guys found this helpful or entertaining, or if you liked it, give it a big thumbs up. Let me know in the comments down below what you want to see next. I have a couple of ideas for my next couple of videos, so hopefully I can bring those to life soon. If you like the sit down videos, if you don't think they're boring like I do, I think I'm boring. I don't think sit down videos are boring. I just think this is not my element. I don't know. I sound insane. I'm very tired. I just need to go to bed. Okay. If you like more sit down videos where I talk to you guys and all of that, let me know too. Comment down below. Just comment down below what you want to see next. Again, make sure you guys subscribe. Hit the notification bell button for when I post next. I don't have a consistent post schedule because I do work full time. I'm sorry, but I do try to get up videos up. you know, soon. So let me know what you want to see next. Subscribe, follow me on social media. Here's my Instagram. Here it is. Here it is. And then here is my Twitter. Follow me, DM me, at me. I am always open to chat. Email me if you want some advice. I've had several of you email me, reach out to me for advice for getting into this business, whether it's reporting or producing. And did I not come through? So feel free to do that. I have some insight in this business, and if you want to get into this industry, I'm always willing to help anyone that wants to get in. But that's it for now. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.